Sridhar, okay. All right. So welcome to another episode of Cricket Vana. We are here to review the end of Super 12 league stage in the T20 World Cup 2022 and looking forward to the knockout week. We have two semifinals and a final coming up. But wow, what a great league stage we have had. I mean, in spite of 4 games being washed out, there'll always be what ifs and some maybes and buts in there. But must say, whether you like all the 4 teams or not, I think it's been a very thrilling. At least personally, even until the last game, you still didn't know. Well, at least one game before we identified all 4 teams finally, but then we still didn't know who plays whom until the last game was done, really done. So in that way, it's been a fantastic World Cup. Quite a few upsets, if you can call it. I don't for T20 anyway, but it's still been quite a few surprise results, shocking exits, and out of the ashes, rise of the Green Phoenix back into the playoffs, if you can call the Pakistan team that way. But yeah, Vinay is joining us from India, and Somo is here from Irvine, myself in Thousand Oaks. Thank you, Sridhar, again for setting this up. So I'll start with Vinay. How was the league stage viewing for you there?
It was great. Being in India, the timings are great because you can enjoy watching all day and you don't lose sleep at night. So that's been good. But I think in not the last episode we did, but 2 episodes ago, before the start of this entire World Cup, I think or maybe it was right after the qualifiers and stuff. But I think it was right after the qualifiers. I had said something about how the qualifiers were so exciting and every match went down to the wire, and any of these associate teams can make it into the the group, and I could only hope that these I guess the next round is just as entertaining, and I think that's exactly what we got. I think the biggest news is all these different upsets, I guess is what people call them, with everybody from Netherlands to Scotland to Ireland to you can basically name everybody that didn't make it into the final 4 here. Some amazing match somehow pulled it out of the hat, to stun whoever bigger nation that they were playing. So I think we really got our quote unquote money's worth. Yeah. I think it was a great good for cricket, and I think this is it's really blasted the doors open for hopefully the next World Cup onwards, for the fans, clamoring for more teams in the World Cup, because we understand what a frenetic nature this T20 format is, and the more teams the merrier, I think, is what people realize or appreciate about it. And so we'll see how it goes, but I think there's definitely an argument to be made of at least 10, 12, even more teams than that, right? Because we're seeing some very high quality cricket being played by everybody around the world at this point. So I think that's my biggest takeaway from the last 2-3 weeks here.
Well said. Samana, how was the Super 12 for you?
Super, again, it has some great highs and low lows, high highs and low lows, if you want to call it. Yeah. As I said, nothing is an upset in T20, as we talked about. The other thing which I say, some of the newer ones, I wouldn't call Zimbabwe new ones, but for certainly Ireland, and they did really well. I think for me, if I call it upset, it's not an upset, because South Africa is known to choke sometimes in the right time, unfortunately. But that Ireland victory was kind of very, very satisfying to me, because they deserve it. They play well, and they need to get some breaks. They did get some breaks, obviously. That was one of those things that played really well. I think that 158 was not a good score by any stretch of imagination, but that was very difficult for South Africa to achieve it. And I think that game probably, I think Miller's catch was probably it changed the complexion of the game. If Miller was there, that catch was not taken. If he had gotten a couple of 4s or 6s, things would have been really different. On a personal level, I thought Rabada kind of faded very, very quickly. 2 wickets in the entire tournament was kind of pathetic. I don't know what happened. Obviously, everybody had the similar wicket, not the same wicket, similar wicket. And if Arshdeep and Bhuvi, in fact, I even disappointed with Bolt. As a matter of fact, he hasn't gotten a lot among the wickets anyway. Saudi bowled well, and there's a lot of in patches, a lot of good bowling. Rabada was one of the disappointments for me in terms of bowling. I expected a lot more. Rabada should have gotten more wickets at the Whitel, and also he leaked a lot of runs in a lot of games, especially the last game they lost, and they took him to the cleaners in the last I think 19th over or something like that. So those are the things. Obviously, the greatest innings Virat Kohli played, and honestly, that day, other than that, the next game, the 50 by KL was probably one of the better innings I've seen for a long time. Okay. Obviously, again, with other innings the Kohli 64 and the Sky's the last innings, that's a miracle innings. I think it kind of overshadowed everything. But that innings was probably one of the better ones. 34 balls, 51 was very good.
Bangladesh, you mean?
Yeah. No, not the Bangladesh, the previous one. When Virat got 64 not out, what is that one? Hold on.
Netherlands.
Netherlands. That's probably one of the better innings from him. Very composed innings, in my opinion. And the strike was very good. In fact, other than Kohli's 6 and a 4 and a 2 or something like that, he would have been at 120 or 125. That was one of those, not his best innings, but of course, he saved the match for us anyway. So these are things that come to my mind right off the bat. I'm sure there's a lot more you can remember, but it's been a long, 2 3 weeks for us, and for some of the earlier ones, which I didn't pay too much attention, but I forgotten to. But all in all, a great games.
I'm already. I'm suddenly feeling I have a lot of time, because there's no World Cup game today.
I know, true.
And I can't wait for the semi-final, but like when I rightly pointed out, even before Super 12, the qualifier games were also quite exciting. We had 2 upsets against West Indies, and Sri Lanka lost to Namibia, and then when it came to Super 12, suddenly, what a start we had with India and Pakistan. That's probably the game of the World Cup, or game of the year overall. Anyway, I think, or just the impact and the context and the kind of nail biting finish it had, and all types of umpiring playbook we got to witness in the last over that we
my goodness, yes,
already. So, but even just that last, yesterday's game, back to Netherlands and South Africa, which is probably going to be talked about for a long time. I personally feel it. I don't know if I can classify that as a choke this time, because to me, choke is when you're ahead, when you're cruising, you are expected to win, and suddenly you slip, and suddenly there's like, wait a minute, what's happening? How are they losing it? Those kind of. But yesterday I felt like even when they were bowling, like you said, even Rabada was toothless, and then when they started the chase, they were never ahead at all. I just felt like they played poorly, and I think calling a choke will also kind of disrespect the way Dutch played, because I think they really played well. Forget being associate, it's not that, oh, they just had a great one day. I mean, it really felt like, if they were wearing blue, you would have felt, wow, this is England or India playing and beating South Africa, hands down. It was that good of a win for Dutch. It's probably better than Ireland beating England, last week, in that way. But again, I understand it's probably the mindset they have, like, oh, we have to win, and I think that's when they start sleeping anyway.
That's what happened. That's exactly what happened when I meant choke is. That's what happened. That was a must win for them anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. I just wonder if they had played this game earlier. I think it's just sometimes it comes down to scheduling too. Like, what's the best way to schedule what would you prefer as a team to play? Do you want to start with Netherlands and Ireland first and then come to the big games like India, Pakistan? Or is it better for take for example India? They had Pakistan and South Africa done with, whether you win or lose. And then the last game, an easier game to work on the run rate or whatever, right?
Everybody wants to play Netherlands, Zimbabwe at the beginning. They will finish in the first 5 days. They will go home.
Exactly.
So,
I think
it's schedule.
For all the teams.
It's the luck of the draw. I think in defense of South Africa, their game that they shared the points was unfortunate. That was the one in the beginning. That was unfortunate. I give them credit for that. They should have had 2 points there. No question about it.
Exactly.
So,
I think they would have moved on context. I think I have a more unpopular opinion about them. I know we talked about this 2 episodes ago, but to me, South Africa was never a favorite, right? To me, they were coming in very poor form. They're coming in with terrible management. Their players were just, frazzled. The team culture was at an all-time low. They were losing random bilateral series. It was just, I know maybe we're associating the brand of their cricket over a longer period of time. But to me, I wouldn't even, not even in just the context of that match, but in general, they wouldn't have been in my Final Four. I would have put Pakistan over them from the beginning of the tournament. And I remember telling you guys this because I know you, Kashyap, were very bullish on South Africa.
I know.
I was the complete opposite. I thought they would just crumble. They wouldn't even be in the conversation. So the first 1 week, I'm just kind of like, what is going on? Where did they turn this on from? Why are they winning everything? This is ridiculous, right? So for me, I think it was course correction coming back to the mean of them not making it. So I have a completely different view on this because it's this was what's supposed to happen since day one for me. But and now it feels like, okay, everything is okay, everything's right. But I can understand from the other perspective, when they're your favorite, you think they're going to top the table, and they miss out, then it's definitely an upset,
Yeah, I think if you call it, there's a letdown, and Australia was a letdown in their home ground. That was probably one of those things.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, Australia missing out on the knockout is probably a bigger shocking news than South Africa missing out. But like when I said, I admit, and I think I'm ready to eat the humble pie here. I thought to me, South Africa was the favorite to win the cup, not just qualify. I think I somehow felt they had, again, Rabada had indifferent form, and of course, with Bavuma as a captain, Reza Hendricks and having Marco Jansen sitting on the bench, and with this team, and especially because Miller is having an excellent. I think between Miller and Surya, for me, are like two greatest batsmen of 2022. Two
great.
You can see Miller. Starting from IPL, he was one of the main guys to win Gujarat the first IPL as well. But somehow for me, with all that team balance and especially with 2 good spinners, they had an excellent balanced bowling attack.
But I think they lost. I think the Bavuma was probably a total letdown. Not only he was not getting runs, he was not inspiring at all. Him
getting runs against Pakistan was was actually was a bigger blow to South Africa than anyone else,
right.
because I think they had lost the patience. That I have a feeling if Bavuma had failed against Pakistan too,
They would have dropped him in the last.
he might have been sitting in the last game against Netherlands. Who knows? But anyway, I mean, but again, overall, I must also add that I think this World Cup has been a nightmare, a graveyard for captains for some reason. I don't know why. Including Finch, maybe a little bit of Butler. Kane had one good innings, but then, no Rohit, Bavuma, Babar, who else?
Babar has never crossed 10 runs.
Shanaka had a very good batting season in Asia Cup, and he had no batting, no bowling, off the catch. You know what? I think Balbirnie from Ireland was probably the best captain.
Correct.
He had some couple of good impactful
knocks,
to with due respect. But yeah, I mean, everyone else has been struggling. I hope Rohit comes fine in one of the knockouts. I don't know. But anyway, we'll get to the knockouts later. So it's hard to go past that India-Pakistan of that blinder. But any other game, if you guys want to mention, like with something that will stay in your memory for a long time.
See, England has played some phenomenal games. Their bowling, especially the bowling unit, has done a beautiful job there. I think they have won some, which I never thought they would win without Butler scoring a lot of runs and everything else. So I think England has been a pleasant surprise for me, especially the bowling department.
Oh yeah, I mean, England has been the best death bowling team suddenly. I mean, not suddenly, but I mean, with Sam Curran picking up wickets, Jordan
Wood is picking up wickets, Box is picking up wickets, everybody's picking up wickets. I mean,
actually one of the best death bowling. So I think
India
will have their task cut out in the semi-final if they want to accelerate in the end. Like, I mean, Surya and Hardik in the death against this England death bowling attack will be a treat to watch, I guess. I mean,
and also Wood is bowling at 150 miles an hour. I mean, 150 kilometers an hour. And I read an article saying that they don't care about how many runs he leaks.
Yeah,
he wants to get wickets. That's all there is.
I mean, he mentioned that. I mean, I want to be a 4 for 40 bowler, and not 1 for 20.
Yeah.
So I mean that's his free. That he's given a clean chit and said go for 4.
Yeah, I mean he's getting wickets. Yeah, he's getting wickets.
Yeah. All right.
You want me to name one match? You said name one match. I think the exciting match for me was Zimbabwe-Pakistan, with Zimbabwe kind of pulling off that. I mean, a lot of matches went down to the last over and last ball, but that one was a thriller because the wickets falling, the timeliness of it. It was phenomenal to watch that match. I don't know if anything else stood out to you guys, but I think the Pakistan-Zimbabwe one was one of my favorites.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, I love that a lot. Again, like I said, I think it's hard to come out of India-Pakistan game, but I mean, I think outside that, if you call that a freak game, then among the rest of the games, I think Zimbabwe-Pakistan wins.
And mind you, that's one run, and they had the game. Pakistan had the game at the last.
and the keeper fumbled and still got it in, and got the run out, and it could have been super over.
And the thing was, it's a 130-run match. I mean, it's like, my goodness. You would have it in 15 overs, 130 runs most of the times.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, but those are the ones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So among the batsmen now, we have Kohli at the top, Surya third.
Surya at number 2.
I think who's in 2? Max O'Dowd. I mean, they played extra games, but I mean, for some reason, I prefer to have the statistics reset when Super 12 begins, because otherwise, Max, I mean, no disrespect to Max O'Dowd and Waninda Hasaranga, but I mean, they played 3 games extra. And I think considering that would be not really be an apples to apples thing.
Right.
But anyway, I mean, in spite of that, I mean, Surya at third is now, you can just say he's second there, and I think Conway or Glenn Phillips might be at the top as well. In bowling, again, there's Hasaranga. I mean, everyone, I think Nokia with 11.
Nokia, I tell you, my goodness.
He's the highest among Super 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, any particular bowling spell you want to remember, Vinay?
I think the first 6 overs or something of the India-Pakistan match, everyone's gonna say, with Arshdeep and Bhuvi moving the ball. That was a treat.
It was very similar to what they did yesterday against Zimbabwe too. It was
right.
one of the best. I mean, again, it's Melbourne, so hopefully we'll see them again in the finals too. You never know. But yeah,
if you have to pick the early overs, I think probably Indian Bhuvi and Arshdeep probably managed among all the games, 5 games you're talking about. They really did a great job throughout the first 5 games.
Actually, actually they have done way better than some of the, big ticket power play bowlers from other teams. I mean, in India,
Rabada and Lungi.
Indian power play bowling has been much better than many other teams for some reason. And then, but yeah, I mean, one other spell I would like to mention is Lungi Ngidi against India. I think, that was a great spell.
Four, right?
Yeah, he got a 4.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great.
Three of the top orders there, but that was a feisty pitch. That was really good to watch the cricket there. It's I think the kind of
Perth gives a lot of exciting games for sure.
I know, but still, again, see, this is not Vaka. It's a new ground. And
maybe
it's the geography. I mean, the kind of soil.
West Coast is more like a
red soil. Is it red soil?
It's a very hard, the Nevada desert kind of that's how it is. Very little rain. It's kind of almost red, but not quite red, but the bouncy. Vaka pitches always, in the Dennis Lilly ages, Cartmarsh board Lily.
Yeah, I've seen some footage, but yeah.
Yeah, Cartmarsh board Lily. That's the greatest.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen them live, but I still remember some of the excellent spells by Mitch Johnson in Perth. I mean, I think he was.
Right. You're right.
He's been the modern king of Perth, and he's especially his Ashes spell and even one against India.
I think that's a tough wicket to play. Thank God, Nammoru with Wood and Works bowling on that. I'm glad they're not playing in Perth.
Well, Adelaide.
That Pakistan Zimbabwe match for 130 was actually at Perth as well, right?
Yeah.
One more bowling spell, if it counts, is that practice match with Shami taking 3 in the final over.
Oh my God! Yeah, last over. Yeah, that was awesome. Just came in.
Yesterday also he got 2 quick wickets, Alva. Yeah.
So moving on to the knockouts, as you all know, India topped the group. But yeah, I mean, just again, because of the timing, India was playing the last game and, it wasn't sure of qualifying or whatever until the last game and until Pakistan beat Bangladesh. India's selection was also not completely, guaranteed. But I mean, again, if you now look back at all the games and the points table, you will see that India won 4 out of 5 games and they are topping the group, while others actually, there was more talk, but I don't think Indian team really panicked in that way, compared to South Africa or Pakistan or even Sri Lanka and England and other teams. I mean, in that way, if you just look at it, they just lost 1 game against South Africa. And
they cruised along pretty easily.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm happy that they finally got 1 game that they really, really dominated and had a big win, just before the knockouts against Zimbabwe. Because, I mean, every other win was, Pakistan was last ball drama, Netherlands was not so convincing, and then Bangladesh again with the rain and, all those other things. I mean, yes, they won, but I mean, again, just 5 runs, especially with DLS and rain and all those, again, some kind of drama. And, anyone wants to touch upon the fake fielding stuff? Well,
I
I
didn't
mean,
even see
just
it.
for if anyone's interested, I mean, so recently they introduced this new rule where the fielders are not supposed to, fake field in that, if you don't have,
Why don't you explain this to me? I didn't watch that. I read it.
yeah,
But
okay.
if I watched it, I would have probably understood a little bit better.
Yeah. So earlier, I mean, if you have watched the games earlier in the previous decades, we have all enjoyed some of the cheekiness of these street smart cricketers we have seen, from, of course, a lot from Dhoni and Sangakkara, and
Yeah.
even before that, I have seen some excellent glove work from Sadanand Vishwanath, or even Moin Khan, Yusuf Khan. So there are these. Even Javed Miandad and Azharuddin or Srikanth in the in circle, that there's always
They always did it. They always
there's
did
always this, like you pretend you have the ball, you want to stop the batsman, or you try to, or maybe sometimes you pretend that you don't have the ball and let them leave the crease and then hit. So there are, you remember so many of these incidents. But I think very recently, a few years ago, I think probably in a county game, don't quote me on this, but because of one of these fake fielding act, a batsman rushed to land in the crease and injured badly or whatever. So it was a knee-jerk reaction, and they brought this rule that no more fake fielding, you will be penalized 5 runs or whatever. I don't like it. I never liked it. But Kohli in Bangladesh match, when Arshdeep threw the ball from the deep, it went past Kohli and went to the keeper, but Kohli pretended to catch the ball and throw it.
Throw it, yeah.
And again, the rule says it does not matter whether it impacts the batters running or not. If you do it, you are penalized 5 runs. So according to the rule, I agree, India should have been penalized 5 runs, whatever it is. You like it or not. I'm not saying it is because it happened against India. I mean, it did not happen against India, by the way, but I never approve of that rule. But anyway, because there's this rule and Kohli did it, yes, just like Mankad, right? It's in the law, you do it.
Yeah.
So again, with the same theory, India should have been penalized 5 runs. But again, that doesn't mean, Bangladesh would have won the game, because that happened before the rain and everything changed. I mean, again, it doesn't mean much in the long run, but yes, they should have been penalized for that existence of the rule. But again, I don't approve of that rule anyway.
Did you? I didn't watch it, but that's why I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's the 7th over. I mean, he was at point, or maybe it's the left-hander. I think he was in the mid-wicket. I forgot whether it's the right-hander or the left-hander, but Arshdeep threw from the deep, and then Kohli just tried to pretend. But I mean, at that time when he pretended to throw, both the batsmen were like less than 3 feet away from the crease. So nothing really happened. It was the end of the run. It was zero impact on anything. But again, because there is this law.
So the ball went past him? And
it just went over him. So he just, pretended and.
Okay.
That's it. So anyway, so that was that. But anyway, now we are into the playoffs, semifinals to be precise. So A1, New Zealand will play B2, Pakistan in Sydney. And then B1, India will play B2, England in Adelaide the day after. And then the winners will, of course, play the final in MCG again.
MCG.
So again, I don't have the exact statistics, but somehow I feel I have not seen any other 2 team pairings as Pakistan and New Zealand playing the semi-final probably the most often. I don't know. For some reason, I feel Pakistan-New Zealand semi-final has been...
Never happened.
No, many times. I think for me, Pakistan has played New Zealand the most number of times in a semi-final, I think, in all the ICC.
You mean in T20s?
Anywhere, I think.
Anywhere. Okay, I thought. Okay.
92 World Cup, 99 World Cup. There's 2007 T20. I don't know. For some reason, Pakistan New Zealand semi-final has been happening a lot. I have to check that. Maybe I should have done some more research. But anyway, many people are already connecting this to 1992. Pakistan came from behind, won 3 games, fraud, and now they are playing New Zealand in semi-final, just like 92. And then, England is on the other semi-final. Of course, there's no South Africa. It's India now, but but then all the other three teams are the same. India, I must add, since 2011, out of 10 different ICC events, India has been the most consistent team to qualify for the knockouts 8 times. They have lost semi-final 3 times. They have lost the final 3 times.
3 times.
And won the final 2 times. So 8 times. And so 5 out of 8, they have actually won the semi-final and gone on to play the final. But, fortunately or unfortunately, there's only 2 titles since 2011. But then, hey, some teams don't have that many titles too. But anyway, India will be playing England in Adelaide. And I'll start with Somo. Any predictions for the finalists?
I wish they did not play in Adelaide for the simple reason the square boundaries are much closer, because I mean, it might help Sky and a few others, but I want a Melbourne kind of a ground to be played on that way. That there's no impact on short distances, whatever. I miss it going to a 6. Those are the things which kind of bothers me a little bit, because what I mean, it's a miss it is a 6. It's not fair. For example, today I believe there was a hit, a pretty good hit, 71 meters. He was caught well within the, I think one of the Zimbabwe guys, 71 meters. He hit pretty good. I thought it was 6, but 71 meters, it did not go any further. It was almost like 3/4 of the way or even beyond. He caught it pretty easily. So I think that's a good thing, because you have, the full, dimension of the, that is one thing for me that I should have played maybe Brisbane or Sydney or whatever, that way. That's that's what I think.
Yeah.
The other one is obviously, that's not bad. I mean, it's a good, the other ground is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same for both the teams, but then
correct.
Yeah, but I mean, England, I think they love sweeping the spinners, and with Ashwin and Akshar, I don't see Chahal coming in now. Although I do wish Chahal plays, but I don't know in place of whom, because I think England is generally a bit more susceptible to leg spin. Then
I don't think he'll play. This is the first game. I don't think.
I wish they tried Chahal against Zimbabwe yesterday, just like they tried Pant and failed. But so we can safely say DK will be back.
Do you think DK will be back? Let's start with that.
I think
he should.
Unless he's injured, I think DK will be back. Especially again, back to your point that the square field are shorter.
Correct.
I think DK prefers the square field anyway. So you never know. I think.
I mean, India are a great team, no question about it. Sky is batting beautifully well. Rahul is, back in two good 50s. Virat is playing great game. Obviously, we don't have Rohit Sharma,
even Hardik
right now.
Matter. He's had a couple of like minor supporting roles, or I know he brings in a lot of other things, off the field, I guess. But somehow Hardik's batting has not been up to the mark as well.
No, that's one thing.
Hopefully, and again, DK too. DK or Pant, there's nothing from our wicket keeper. So it's basically Surya, Kohli, and a bit of KL, and that's it. So
that's it, pretty much. Yeah. So that's one thing that kind of I can also, mind you, the fast bowlers are good. Wood bowls very fast, and also he bowls for good bounces. We are vulnerable to the bouncing balls, obviously. That's one thing I'm a little bit concerned. And their pace attack is very good. And also Sam Curran bowls beautifully.
Yeah.
So I think he's one of those guys very hard to. And Adil Rashid, and
Indian batting for some reason is also been a little off the mark. I mean, I think their bowling is carrying them quite well.
Correct. I think Malan is not firing.
Malan is not playing actually. Malan is
Harry Brooks is not firing, to be honest. That's
not even Stokes until the
Livingston is not firing. I mean, they're getting some runs somehow, somewhere. but not the main contenders who we thought are going to win. I mean, score runs are not scoring. Maybe they'll come into form.
Moeen Ali is completely invisible.
Completely. They've forgotten Moeen Ali.
I know.
I mean, he bowled one first over for 4 runs in one of the games. That was pretty good, I believe.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch that, but I read it. So all in all, it's a very, very evenly balanced team so far. Because
of Adelaide. I think if it was not Adelaide, I would have said India easily.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, with Adelaide, it's anybody's game, and I think if I have to give a little bit of an edge, probably I'm giving the edge to England right now at this point in time. So,
all right, Vinay, what about the other semi-final?
The other one, I have a feeling Pakistan might sneak through. I don't know. You give them a little glimmer of hope, and I think what scares me about these teams like England and Pakistan is their players have not been playing well, right? Your Babar and Rizwan not playing well, your Butler and whatever playing not well. It's at some point they have to fire, right? And at this point, this is the final 2 games. If they win this one, this is all they need to be able to lift that trophy. So I think maybe they'll be the hero and they'll put their stamp on this World Cup because they had the innings at the right time, right? So I think that's what scares me is these players cannot go an entire tournament without scoring any runs. It's impossible. They have to show up at some point. So I think I'm scared for both. Obviously, I want India, and I would want probably. I mean, I don't care if it's New Zealand or Pakistan because I think both make sense to me. But I think I have a feeling England's going to win, and I have a feeling Pakistan's going to win. So we'll see.
Yeah,
India, as I said, a slight edge on that. I mean, England is a slight edge on that. But I think I'm clear on New Zealand winning the game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, but by the form the teams have displayed so far, I would like to say, I mean, if that keeps consistent, unless, like when I said, somebody has a blinder of a game suddenly. Babar or Butler or Livingston or somebody, you would expect India New Zealand finals by so far the way the teams have progressed. But
correct.
I mean, again, anything can happen. Again, it's T20. So I mean, if Netherlands can beat South Africa and Ireland can beat England, then anything can happen. But yeah, I mean, if I still have to predict something, I think like. What's bigger than an India-Pakistan final again, right? So
Melbourne, 100,000
people. Oh man, again, I don't want to predict the final now. So
if I had my pick, as I said, New Zealand and England is my pick at this point in time. With the numbers, what they played, how they're playing, how they're faring, and Finn Allen is scoring at a phenomenal rate. He's 180, something like that, Finn Allen.
Phillips, Conway,
Phillips.
Some of them are really Hales is doing good. Surya, hopefully Hale can continue and not stop at exactly 50 runs every time.
I know. True.
Or maybe Rohit will come through. I mean, maybe the knockouts will be for the captains now. Rohit, Babar, Butler, who knows? This is mouth-watering. But I mean, I must say, I mean, I think personally, this has been one of the best World Cups.
And also the Final Four, I think the teams have evenly balanced in all of them. I mean, no one is a certain favorite, or no one snuck through that day. They're going to lose, kind of a thing. Anybody can win on any given day, especially these, and they have played consistently well all the games. So
I mean, seriously, any team can beat the other 3 teams, on any day. So I mean, it's hard to predict all the 3 games left. So
the fairly consistent performances by all the 4 teams who have come to the semifinals so far.
What are some of the big profile names you think who might be playing their last World Cup?
Rohit Sharma.
Yeah.
Possibly Kohli. I don't think he'll last another 4 years at this kind of
T,
stage.
T20 World Cup is only
T20 is every
2 years away.
Oh, sorry, I'm 2 years. I'm sorry. Yeah,
2 years.
every 2 years.
So 2 years, I might say Kohli may be there.
Maybe
But
sneaking.
yeah, for me, Rohit, DK, Ashwin,
Rohit, DK, Ashwin,
I think Adil Rashid, Ben Stokes.
Chahal.
Chahal, I don't know. How old is Chahal?
It's very hard. I mean, see, their younger crop coming, the Akshars of the industry coming.
Kane Williamson for sure.
Huh?
Kane Williamson.
Oh, Kane Williamson, probably not in the next 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, if things go this way, who knows? I mean, with the unpredictability of the Pakistan,
where is the next T20?
They might even drop Babar if they don't win this anymore.
I know. See, especially if they lose the semifinals and he doesn't score, Pakistan will kill him. I mean, they're very ruthless in that day, though. It's a shame.
Back to your question, the next T20 World Cup is in West Indies, co-hosted by USA.
US.
Hey, Jamaica,
We should. Yes.
We should.
2024. So
we should see a couple of games.
Yeah, we should definitely. All right.
Do they have any plans to play in Florida as well? No.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
If it's in US, then yeah, I mean, I think Florida will be the first choice. I don't know if it's gonna come to California or not. I mean, again, I think there are some good grounds, but it's not really, audience ready. Like, there's
you're right. Yeah.
There's no seating stadiums or whatever, unless they do, repeat that Shane Warne kind of game in Dodger Stadium.
No.
They're building in Seattle. They're building in Northern California. They're building in the Great Park.
They have some great
you don't know. Maybe it'll be done. In
2 years.
But the whole reason they're building is for this.
They have some great facility in Houston. So let's see.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see in Florida. Probably I want to go to West Indies. Probably my games are better there. Port of Spain, Jamaica, Barbados. If we can squeeze in 2 or 3 games somehow in 3 or 4 days, we should do that.
Yes. All right. And before that, there's quite a few other exciting games and series coming up next year as well. So we'll talk about that after the World Cup. We'll meet again next week. Maybe before the final, or maybe we'll meet after.
If you can squeeze in one before the final, would be nice.
Yeah. Let's do it after the semifinal.
That is Saturday night, right? So we can, if you can do like a Friday night. I mean, Friday night, Saturday night. So if you can do for this coming Friday night around the same time, would be
all right. Good. Yes, we'll chat and schedule something. But thanks for.
So who do you pick? Let's pick the finals. Who is going to be you? You guys pick. I picked mine.
Yeah, I said I think I would prefer India New Zealand, but I have a feeling it's going to be India Pakistan.
Wow, God, you go.
I think mine's the opposite. Mine is I would prefer India and maybe Pakistan or New Zealand. I don't care, but I think it's going to be England and Pakistan.
Okay.
I am New Zealand and England.
All right.
Yeah, and I will even go to the extent New Zealand will win the cup too.
I don't mind that. I was looking at it. I think the last since 2013 Champions Trophy that India won. We have 7 different teams winning the last 7 events.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 13 India, 14 Sri Lanka, 15 Australia, 16 West Indies, 17 Pakistan, 19 England, 21 Test Championship New Zealand, and then last T20 was Australia. Australia won 2015 and 2021. Yeah. So that's why I was hoping maybe it's India or South Africa. I always felt it's going to be India South Africa final. So that's why I now feel like Pakistan in place of South Africa. Let's see.
So Wednesday night, and I mean Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For it's Wednesday and Thursday in India.
Wednesday, Thursday in India. Okay. Tuesday night, Wednesday. Okay. 12 o'clock. Okay, got it.